Don't mind my sister. She's very focused on the dress parade. Thought Jacques de Molay was a haute couture label. I'm more of a political observer. I know the cut of this dress doesn't spell out shrinking violet. They say if you've got it, flaunt it. And these legs have a PhD in political science. The Templars, the whole secret world, all wheels within wheels, always needing seizing or greasing. You're a tiny, but perfectly formed, if I do say so myself, cog in an immense and terrifying machine. I wouldn't let it grind you down, sweetheart. It's been like this since the year dot. But when the superhero kick wears off, always remember how the world works, in a depressingly mercenary fashion. This was a club for gentlemen only, back in the good old days of privilege. We Stuart women have been working on widening the door policy since. We're not officially Templars.
More Templar advisors.
Not to suggest that the Templars have ever listened to our advice.
Scandalous! We're there, what not to wear, bringing a touch of class to a dreary military occult complex. Was it the Roman recruiter you met? She was one of mine. Understated.
Sister dearest, I don't think that word means what you think it means.
I've understated before.
It's true, the Templars prefer us to be seen and not heard. If the secret societies were in any danger of being run by grown-ups, the library here would be accessible to all. But fingers are still being pointed over the faux pas at Alexandria.
That swan dress.
The burning of the library. It really was a hideous dress, though.
Now that we're out of cocktail season, rehabilitating Gladstone is our full-time project. Oh, don't feel left out. We always make time to receive the bright young things that come through Temple Hall.
Gladstone is one of the great occult minds of our age. It's a very small, very high-risk field, being a great occult mind.
Yes, they usually end up losing them to elder gods with names like a mouthful of cornflakes.
He's been going native, every kind of native, for 30 years. Then the Templars fished him up off the coast of Kalimantan and brought him home.
We've got him housebroken again, dressing again, writing and lecturing again, mostly comprehensively.
Of course, he's not permitted to leave. It is a shame. He's like a caged bird in here, a shabby, flightless thing with a hairy beak that stinks of sherry.
A bird who licks cane toads and must be gently, but firmly reminded to wear pants.
Watching the secret world from the outside gives us a better perspective on events. The societies are like those pre-Florentine painters. Obsessed, genius, and completely unable to appreciate their angles are all out of whack.
Or that their portraiture is all giant heads and tiny hands.
You can't blame faulty vanishing points for that. Don't you remember the 5-head on Elizabeth?
We're losing our audience, Catherine.
I am awful. Perspective. Everyone's in it for themselves. Even the Council of Venice, who like the idea of having final say just a little too much. Everyone sees things relative to their own goals, and not in relation to, say, the approaching end of mankind.
But don't worry. We backed the Templar's horse because my fondness for ponies hasn't led me astray yet. Think about how all events are connected, one unraveling the next, and you'll go far. Too vague?
All the best ones are. Oh, the Templars are huge supporters of the Great Game. In places where a trickle of the old power remains, less than a dozen left now, I think, the societies have graciously agreed to fight fairly.
The noble art of gotta catch 'em all. So they send out their strapping young things to struggle, die grisly deaths, and be reborn. Someone wins, flag changes hands, rinse and repeat.
The blessing of the bees has made all the difference. Back when there was less of the old buzz in the air, it was much more grim. Venice did their best to umpire sportingly, but third-degree burns, gangrene, accidental decapitations, etc. didn't half spoil the mood.
Now it's just ritualized aggression like squash or rugby. You can be obliterated in the name of your order claiming a pile of rocks and still be home in time for Pims and canapes.
What better way to spend the precious gift of eternal life?
We'll be rooting for you. Come on, you Reds!
Illuminati. The type who think revving the engine on a muscle car is a good icebreaker.
They've elevated the vulgar to a modern art form ever since they cut away from mysticism to spite the Templars. Their future is more 1984 than Orwell's ever could have been. Shoulder pads and slicked hair, cutting lines with platinum cards.
All that Masonic symbolism, the Golden Lodges, it's just an empty front. There's no secret handshakes. They don't even know what handshakes mean anymore, other than client-server connectivity.
We may be a little biased, seeing as we've never made the guest list for their Big Apple basement. I hear it's the Guggenheim of bomb shelters.
Oh, the Labyrinth. I suppose they haven't forgotten their classics after all. Oh, and they're industrious, working towards a revolution that won't just be televised, it'll be pay-per-view.
The Roman Empire too. Rome harder.
Caligula, with a spray tan.
Now there's a way to kill a conversation stone dead.
All these secret societies frantically building so they might be ready for the apocalypse, and one tearing everything down. It's a very deconstructionist approach to conspiracy.
They lost me at Harmony. Harmony is terribly boring.
Spoken as only my sister could, she of the Speed Spiritual Retreat.
7 days in Tibet.
The Dragon are beyond Harmony now, post-Harmony, taking the concept to its illogical extreme. Thousands of years spent zeroing in on the space between order and chaos. They pull the tablecloth out from under the still life of the world.
Do the vases fall or stay on the table? I mean, would they make a sound? I'd see their philosophy if it was exhibited at the Tate Modern. Any excuse to work my gold lame number. But the Dragon prefer the medium of interpretive terrorism.
I hear it's the next big thing.
So you're the new hotness. You look taller on the security camera footage, but that's not necessarily an issue. As long as you can hold a martini, smile, and think of England at the same time. Dickie S. has spoken highly of you, and that's quite the calendar-marking occasion. You've really made waves. The Templars don't like waves, unless they're royal ones delivered with a porcelain grimace. Today's golden boy is next week's persona non grata. 1 minute you're saving the world, the next you've been recommissioned to Siberia. You can take the lion out of Babylon, but not Babylon out of the lion, Just keep smiling, it's better that way. My sister and I can be your rock in these fair weather waters. All I ask is that you dress for success. If a new age of mankind is coming, you don't want to look like you slept in a hedge.